First of all, I'd like to remind everyone that this initiative brings together the entire opposition. Everyone is here, you can see it, the group of 6 is present, Jean-Pierre is here, and everyone is united. This is, therefore, a Republican march, as was emphasized recently. But, in living memory, we have never seen such a massive mobilization. Today, the people hold their destiny in their hands. It is up.
Africa Connect News is your #1 news. We use credible sources, official statements, and verified online content for educational, analytical, and informational use. Accuracy is not guaranteed. Viewers should verify independently. We do not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our aim is to offer context-rich insights, amplify local voices, and support informed dialogue in Africa and beyond. Viewer discretion advised.
First of all, I'd like to remind everyone that this initiative brings together the entire opposition. Everyone is here, you can see it, the group of 6 is present, Jean-Pierre is here, and everyone is united. This is, therefore, a Republican march, as was emphasized recently. But, in living memory, we have never seen such a massive mobilization. Today, the people hold their destiny in their hands. It is up to them to decide, it is up to them to make their voices heard. We are merely intermediaries, it is up to the people to take responsibility. They have the power. Today, that power is returning to their hands. As for us, we stand firm in our positions. What they are doing is just a delaying tactic, a way to buy time, nothing more. They must meet our demands or step aside. I don't think they will last until tomorrow. We are convinced of that. Just look at this enormous crowd. In what country do you see such a popular uprising without any reaction from the state?
In Togo, protests against President Faure Gnassingbe's government have entered their 3rd consecutive week, with thousands of people rallying in the streets of Lomé and other major cities to demand political reforms and an end to decades of extended rule by the Gnassingbe family. Demonstrations began in response to a proposed constitutional amendment that would allow Gnassingbe to potentially extend his time in office beyond current limits. The president, who has ruled since 2005 following his father's 38-year tenure, faces mounting criticism from opposition groups and civil society organizations. Protesters are demanding the reinstatement of the 2-term presidential limit, which was lifted in 2002. They are also calling for free and fair elections, the release of political prisoners, and an end to arbitrary arrests. Many are expressing frustration with the slow pace of democratic reforms and perceived human rights abuses. Security forces have responded with tear gas, rubber bullets, and arrests, sparking accusations of excessive force. According to the Togolese League of Human Rights, LTDH, at least 12 people have been injured, and 37 arrested since the protests began. Human rights organizations have condemned the crackdown, urging the government to respect the rights of citizens to assemble and express their grievances peacefully. Regional and international bodies are monitoring the situation closely. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has called on the Togolese government to enter into meaningful dialogue with the opposition. The African Union has also urged restraint, stressing the importance of protecting human rights during demonstrations. Togo has a history of political turbulence, with the Gnassingbe family in power for nearly 60 years. Despite some progress in infrastructure and economic development, many citizens continue to live in poverty, and allegations of electoral fraud and political repression have fueled public anger. Opposition leaders have vowed to keep up the pressure, with plans for more protests in the coming days. Negotiations between the government and opposition parties, facilitated by ECOWAS, are expected to resume next week. The outcome of these talks could determine whether President Gnassingbe is willing to make meaningful concessions or if the standoff will escalate. Do you like this personality? As protests continue to shake Togo, demonstrators have voiced a clear set of demands that reflect deep-rooted frustrations with the country's political system. Among the key demands are a restoration of presidential term limits, the release of political prisoners, and greater freedom of expression and assembly. Many Togolese citizens feel that the current government has failed to deliver on promises of democratic reform, transparency, and respect for human rights. The removal of term limits in 2002 paved the way for Faure Gnassingbé to extend his family's decades-long rule, and this move continues to fuel resentment among opposition groups and the general public. Protesters also want to see an end to the arbitrary arrests and intimidation of journalists, activists, and opposition figures. The call for greater accountability and an independent judiciary resonates with a population that has long felt disenfranchised by a government perceived as unresponsive to their needs. The protests have also drawn attention to the disappearance of a popular Togolese artist and activist known for his outspoken criticism of the government. Kassi Agbiom, a hip-hop artist who uses his music to highlight issues of poverty, corruption, and political repression, went missing 3 days ago after attending a demonstration in Lomé. Friends and family say he had received threats prior to his disappearance. His absence has sent shockwaves through Togo's vibrant cultural community, with fellow artists and activists demanding answers from authorities. Many fear that his disappearance is part of a wider crackdown on dissent. The Togolese League of Human Rights, LTDH, has called for an immediate investigation and has urged the government to guarantee the safety of all citizens who participate in peaceful protests or express political opinions. As tensions continue to mount, the fate of Kassi Agbiom has become a symbol of the struggle for freedom of expression and human rights in Togo. Protesters insist they will continue to mobilize until their demands for justice, democracy, and accountability are met. As protests intensify across Togo, many demonstrators are expressing a desire to follow the example set by Burkina Faso's leader, Ibrahim Traoré, who has taken a strong stand against Western influence while focusing on self-reliance and national development. In conversations with protesters and opposition leaders in Lomé, there's a growing sentiment that Togo should adopt a similar approach to Burkina Faso's, where Traoré has publicly distanced himself from France and other Western powers, emphasizing sovereignty and prioritizing the needs of his people. Traoré's bold policies, such as cracking down on corruption, investing in agriculture and security, and strengthening national industries, have resonated with many Togolese who feel that decades of dependence on foreign aid and influence have not translated into meaningful improvements in their daily lives. Many Togolese argue that foreign aid and international partnerships have often come with strings attached, leaving the country vulnerable to external pressures and failing to address deep-seated issues like poverty, unemployment, and inequality. They admire Traoré's insistence that Burkina Faso's resources and decisions should benefit Burkinabe citizens first and foremost. Protesters in Togo are also calling for leaders who are willing to break free from what they see as exploitative relationships with former colonial powers. They are inspired by Traoré's efforts to create an economy less dependent on imports and foreign loans, and to encourage local industries and entrepreneurship. The growing popularity of this Burkina Faso model among Togolese activists reflects a broader trend across West Africa, where youth movements and civil society groups are increasingly questioning the role of Western nations and pushing for homegrown solutions to their country's problems. As the protests continue, some political analysts warn that emulating Burkina Faso's trajectory could present challenges for Togo, given the country's different political and economic realities. However, for many Togolese, the appeal of national dignity, sovereignty, and self-determination outweighs the risks. As one protester in Lomé put it, "We are tired of being told what to do by outsiders. We want leaders who will put Togolese people first, just like Ibrahim Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso." For now, the government has yet to respond to these demands, but it is clear that many Togolese are ready for a new approach that prioritizes local needs and breaks from a legacy of foreign dependence. Across Africa, citizens have long grappled with the legacies of colonialism, political instability, and economic dependency on former colonial powers and foreign interests. In recent years, a growing number of people have called for a renewed focus on sovereignty, transparency, and homegrown solutions to local challenges. Many Africans are inspired by leaders who advocate for policies that prioritize the needs of their citizens, promote local industries, and aim to reduce reliance on external aid and influence. At the same time, there are concerns about the importance of ensuring that these leaders uphold democratic principles, respect human rights, and remain accountable to their people. For many, the idea of protecting leaders who resist being puppets to foreign interests resonates deeply. However, it's crucial that this does not come at the expense of the fundamental rights and freedoms of all citizens. Democracy, dialogue, and peaceful protest remain essential tools for holding leaders accountable while ensuring that progress benefits everyone. Despite the challenges, there is hope for Africa. The continent is rich in resources, culture, and human potential. By fostering unity, supporting good governance, and investing in education, health, and economic empowerment, African nations can build stronger societies and more sustainable futures. Feel free to share these ideas with others, and let's continue to highlight the resilience and potential that exists throughout Africa. Type in the comment section. There is hope for Africa.
That's all for now on Africa Connect News. Thank you for staying informed with us. For more updates, context-rich insights, and authentic African perspectives, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time, stay connected, stay informed, and above all, stay proudly African. This is Africa Connect News.